Hello, my name is Jonathan. I am a youth minister in Greentown, Indiana, and in this video I want to show you how we built an escape room at our church. Now, I've been building escape rooms at our church for about the last 5 years. I wanted to start off by taking an overview of how I set up the escape rooms. Now, at our church, we have this area where we have 3 Sunday school rooms that are connected to each other by 2 doors. So in the escape room, the students have to solve puzzles in all 3 rooms. They start off in room 1, and then they make it through the door to room 2, and then they finally make it through the door to room 3, where they will find the conclusion to the escape room. Now, what I like to do in these 3 rooms, I think the best way to set this up is start off by putting 3 puzzles in the first room, and then in the second room, we have 5 puzzles. And then in the room 3, we have just 2 puzzles. Usually by the time they get to the third room, they are pretty exhausted from all of the puzzle solving, and it's good to give them a little bit of a break on the last room. So this room is set up as a mansion. You're looking through Arthur McMoneybags' mansion to try to find his greatest secret of investment. And they have to start off in this first room, which is his living room, and then they will go through his bedroom, and finally they must get into the trunk that's inside of his closet. At the very first room where they start off, this room is probably the most challenging room. There's only 3 puzzles in here, and the puzzles are pretty easy. However, if you do them in the wrong order, you will find yourself spending a lot of time confused. In each of the first 2 rooms, they basically have one main puzzle that they're trying to solve, but they have to solve the other puzzles in the room before they can complete the main puzzle. Now, the main puzzle that they are trying to solve is simply by flipping over these carpet tiles and revealing on the back that there is a puzzle for them to put together. Once they put it together, it should look like this. And once they find the lock that goes with the puzzle, it's pretty easy to do. They just have to push the buttons that correspond with the pink X's on the grid of the carpet puzzle, and they will open it up and they will get a key. So when they're finished, the puzzle will look like this. They just push those buttons where those X's are and they get in. But when they first get into the room, the puzzle actually will look like this when they put it together, because they will be missing some of the pieces. In order to get those pieces, they're going to have to get into this metal cabinet. And getting into this metal cabinet is really easy. They just have to find this trophy, and on the trophy it says 2018 exclamation point. Once they put in the numbers 2018 plus the exclamation point, they will be into the cabinet. And once they open up the cabinet, they will see there are 3 important items: the remote control, the box with a lock on it, and the rest of the carpet tiles. So the next thing that they're going to need to do is get into this box that says, how much does money weigh? It's kind of a confusing clue, but once they solve it, it'll make a lot more sense. And the way that they solve this is they have to use the remote control to drive a car that's in the other room. Now, this is one of my favorite things to do in an escape room, is to put something in the next room that they have to use in order to get out of the room that they're in. When they look through the glass window, they will see that there's a car in the other room. They simply have to work together, one person watching the car and the other person controlling it. They have to work together to get the car to turn around and back up towards the door. And once the car is backed up towards the door, they will see that on the back of the car it says numbers 350. And once they go into the Bible and open up numbers 350, they will see that it says that they collected the money and it weighed 1,365 shekels. They put that into the box, and that's where they find the lock pad that corresponds with the carpet. Again, they just have to type in the buttons that correspond with the grid on the carpet. And once they do that, they will have the key to the next room, and they will be off into the next room. Now, the next room looks like the bedroom of the house that they're trying to get through. And they must get through the bedroom to get to the closet, which the closet is the last room. Now, the main puzzle in this room is this chessboard. They have to complete all the rest of the puzzles in the room before they complete the chessboard, but this is mainly their goal. So they're going to be looking around the room. They'll find a notebook that tells them where the pieces go. It says B3, so they have to put a chess piece on B3. And then they'll find one that says C5, and they find a chess piece and they place it on C5. Then they find another chess piece and place it on F7. And finally, when they get the last chess piece and place it on G4, the drawer automatically opens. And this is kind of a challenging puzzle to put together, but if you're interested in knowing how to make something like this for yourself, let me know in the comments, and I will try to make a video explaining how I put this together with an automatic opening drawer. It's really cool. The kids love it once they put that thing in there, because it's like, once they put the last piece in, it's like magic. The drawer opens up by itself. Pretty cool. But before they can even do this chess puzzle, they're going to have to go through the room and find all the chess pieces. And the way they get these chess pieces is by solving the other 4 puzzles that are in the room. The first puzzle that we're going to go over is a puzzle that's got these 3 photos of basketball players. They just have to find the basketball players and hang them on the wall. They'll know where to hang them because there's little nameplates under each of the basketball players. And on the lockbox that's below the basketball players, it says, "His name will be written in history forever." And so this puzzle gets a little confusing for them because they're trying to figure out which one of these basketball players are the most famous. But the actual person that the clue is referring to is somebody in the Bible. And the way that they figure out who it's talking to is by studying the pictures and realizing that the pictures are telling them 2 Kings chapter 8, verse 23. Once they look up that verse, they will know that the clue is referring to Joram, one of the kings of Israel. They type in Joram's name, they open the case, and they get a chess piece for the chessboard. The next puzzle is a pretty funny one. They just basically have to find a letter in the drawer, and once they read the letter, they see that at the end of the letter, they have to shout out the line, "Alexa, turn on your love for me so we can be together," which is a really awkward, funny line for them to have to say. And once they do that, then there's an Alexa in the room, and she turns on, "Alexa, turn on your love for me so we can be together." So basically, she just turns on a little computer called an Arduino, and then the Arduino starts to flash the lights in the room. Each time it blinks, the students have to count the number of blinks. Each number of blinks represents a number on the lock. Once they put all the numbers in, they'll be able to open the case and get the next chess piece. If you'd like to have more information about how I put this together, just let me know in the comments below, and I will try to put a video together showing you how I wired all that up. Then the next puzzle is this puzzle it's made out of PVC pipe, and it's supposed to look like it's modern art. And the puzzle is pretty simple, but it's just really abstract, so it takes them a few minutes to figure it out, to sort it all out. And the first thing they've got to do is they've got to find a hair dryer that's in the room. And they take the hair dryer and they put it into the funnel at the base of the sculpture. And once they cover up enough of the holes coming out towards the bottom of the sculpture, a little tiny Nerf dart will shoot out of the top of the sculpture, and the Nerf dart's got a note in it, and they just have to open the note. The note just tells them what the combination to get into the lock is. And then they just have one more puzzle to solve in the room. And that's just this simple, it's just a little night vision puzzle. They find this camera in the room. It has the words night vision written on the top, and they're not really sure what to do with it. But eventually somebody spots that there is a little cutout in the next window to the next room, and it's very dark in there and you can't see anything. But once they put the camera up to the hole, then it reveals that there's some infrared light shining on a sign that says boat. They just have to put in the word boat in the lock. They open up the box and they get a fourth chess piece. And then once they have the 4 chess pieces, they can open up the drawer and get into the next room. Now, all 4 of those puzzles that get the chess piece, they can do them in whichever order they want. And usually they solve the basketball one last, and probably the camera one and the Alexa one is the first one they solve, and then the sculpture one is a little bit trickier and a little bit harder. All right, so you get the key, and then you will be able to get into the very last room. Now, the last room is set up like the closet in the mansion, and there's only 2 puzzles in here. What you're trying to do is get into this trunk, and it's got 2 locks on it on a multi-lock thing. I don't know what it's called, but once you open the trunk, you'll see the end of the escape room, which just tells them to read Matthew chapter 6, verses 19 through 21, which is telling them about how we don't want to store up our treasures on earth, but we want to store up our treasures in heaven. And the way they get into this box is by solving the 2 puzzles. First puzzle that they can solve is by looking through these coats, and they will find some money, some fake money that I made in the coats. And this is a pretty simple puzzle, and it's easy to make, but it's a little bit challenging for them to figure out. All they have to do is look at the serial numbers, and you can see that there's some letters in the serial numbers. And so the first one says up, and then the second one, when you look at the serial numbers, it says right. And then on the $10 bill, when you look at the serial numbers, it says left. And then the $20 bill says down. So they go to the directional lock, they go up, right, left, down, and that one opens. And they just have one more lock to go before they're done. They will find the answer to this lock by looking through the hats. Under one hat, they will find a blacklight flashlight. And under the other hat, they will find a map hidden in there. And the map says the merchant's hidden treasure. They shine the black light on the map, and they will find a hidden X. This hidden X is actually back in the first room, and it's directing them to the picture of Arthur that they saw in the first room and had nothing to do with any of the puzzles. But once they go back to that room and find Arthur and shine the black light on his poster, it's kind of hard to see on video, but it says Matthew chapter 13, verse 45, which tells them that the merchant's treasure is pearl, and they type in pearl, which unlocks the box and gets them into the final trunk. Once they read the verse, then the escape route time is stopped. Now, at our church, what we do is we like to make it a competition. Whoever can get through the room in the fastest amount of time gets a free dinner with me, the youth minister. We also like to have adults come in and play test the room, make sure it's totally ready for all the students. And the good reason, a big reason why you want to have adults play test it. So, for example, our first play test, we had a lot of changes afterwards because the first adult group went through and it took them an hour and 15 minutes to finish the room, which is way longer than I want it to be. So we made a few changes. And most of the adults on the last day of the adult groups going through were finishing in it around 50 minutes, which was a lot better, closer to what I wanted to do. So I highly recommend getting some adult groups to come through and try the room. They will help you show you the parts that are too hard, and they'll help you. Sometimes they'll solve things in a way that you didn't intend it to be solved, and so you can take some time to fix those things. So anyway, thank you for watching my YouTube video. If you liked this and you want to see more videos like this, please subscribe and like the video so that I know to make more content like this one. Also, if you have any questions about anything in the room, or you want to know some more details about how I built anything, please leave a comment down below.